to a news brief from the show Living with Climate Change. I apologize for the video quality. My webcam has gotten damaged, so I have to get a new one. But I wanted to do this show. I was going to do it yesterday because of its immediacy, and it's the Youth Strike for Climate that happened Friday, March 15th. And I just want to talk about it because, it's big news in climate change. So just some background on this. These demonstrations are, they came out of this, the young student from Sweden, I'll try to pronounce her name, Greta Thunberg. She made a speech at the UN Climate Change Conference last year, and it was quite moving. I rewatched that, and it is quite a moving speech from a young person that is very concerned about the future of herself and all the young people in the world, and the lack of the adults in the world addressing climate change. And I sure can relate to her on that. And let me show you some pictures of her. I can't post much on this because of intellectual property. None of this is in the public domain yet. And I don't have rights to a lot of these things, to pictures and stuff. But let's show. So I think I really can see in her the concern and the worry and the her sensitivity to what is happening to the world on an ecological level, and the lack of being able to address this or talk about it. And that's the way that the youth see the adults in the world facing this. I can relate. I've tried to create this show to bring awareness of climate change. And I asked a friend, or I was talking about climate change with a friend about a year ago. And he said, what do you want everybody to do? Drop everything and start working on environmental issues? And the answer to that is yes. That's what we should do. And that's what the youth of the world want done. And I will quote a 16-year-old from Kentucky, United States, the state of Kentucky, that I read in an article. She says, here's the bottom line: education isn't going to matter if the earth is uninhabitable. And nothing will matter if the earth is uninhabitable. That's why I say drop everything and start working on ecological problems. And that's what they're saying. And another thing so obviously we know that people think that there is no ecological problems in the world. And but what she is also referring to is for us to take the precautionary principle on climate change and the science that is out there. And I have talked about that, or I've already recorded shows on the precautionary principle, and those will be those will come out in the future if anybody watches it. But that's what they're saying, and this is over 100 countries, half the world's countries, over 1 million students took place in this. The young girl Greta Thunberg is up for a Nobel Peace Prize. I think that it's if you watch her speech again, you might see why. Coming from a young girl like that, it's quite moving. But these strikes are called Fridays for Future, Climate Strike for Youths, and just different names. But I hope they continue. And so I think we need an ecological revolution. That's what the young people are saying, because let's put this in perspective. In 30 years will be about the year 2050. If nothing is done, the projections with nothing done is going to be could be serious problems in the world that we've not seen before, unprecedented consequences, and that's what they're worried about, and that's not far from now. And they will be 40 years old, 40 to 45 years old at that time, in the middle of their lives. In the prime of their lives, they will be facing all of these problems that could very well come to be if we don't do something about them. And they're such massive problems that we do need to drop everything and start working on them. So that's the show, a news brief on what happened on Friday around the world, youth speaking out, pleading to the world of the adults that run the worlds and the governments, and they just want you to listen to them and do something and start taking care of the way that we develop and what we concentrate on. And I'm sure we'll hear more from them. So that's probably too long a news brief, but it's I thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye.